The Atlas in Path of Exile is a pretty scary thing. There's not a lot of direction. It doesn't always tell you exactly what you need to do in order to progress. So in this video, I'm going to do exactly that for you. I'm going to show you guys exactly what you need to do to progress your Atlas from 0 Watchstones all the way up to 32, or even just 20, if at that point, once you've killed your first Sirus, you want to go into a different farming strategy. Enjoy the video. But first guys, if you like the video or you're enjoying these and you haven't yet subscribed, I think 90% of people who watch the videos currently aren't subscribed. If you could just hit that button for me and like the video if it is helpful, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me out a huge ton. Enjoy the video, and I hope this helps you in completing your Atlas in the next league. So once you've completed the campaign, you're going to head on over to Kirak, who's going to reward you with a map. You might also have gathered some of these from your journeys through the later acts. These are going to come in handy as they're how we're going to start progressing our way through the Atlas. Place them into the map device. You can roll them how you wish. I recommend going blue for the early maps. And then you just head on in and just make sure you leave less than 50 remaining. This is because we want to drop as many maps back so we're sustaining and we don't have to go away and buy more. A map follows specific rules. Magic and rare monsters can drop +1 to the tier, and bosses can drop +2. The rest of the map will just drop a map the same tier as the one you're currently in. And importantly, maps that drop from bosses are more likely to be for the adjacent maps, which you can see here denoted by this black dotted line. Another important thing to note as you're going through is that you're going to want to complete as many bonus objectives as possible. You're going to want to come back and do this later on anyway, so you might as well do it as you're going through, because map sustain is one of your ultimate goals. So if you don't have a higher tier map, maybe you have to regress a tier, just do some of the maps that you don't currently have the bonus objectives for, so you can refill that higher tier you have. This will make it so even when you don't have a tier to complete, you're not wasting time. So this is absolutely the part of the guide where you might want to grab your pen and paper. I'm going to make it as clear as possible and as easy to follow as possible if you would like to refer back to it. But this is going to be the fastest way to complete your Atlas and get from 0 to 20 Watchstones in the easiest way to remember possible, in my opinion. You're going to start in the center of the Atlas and head on straight over to one of the corners. For the sake of this video, I'm going to do it clockwise, starting with Lex Ajuris. So we're going to head through Lex Proxima, hopefully complete some adjacent maps, referring back to the rule we learned earlier, drop some Lex Ajuris maps. Then we're going to complete Lex Ajuris maps until we reveal one of these citadels. Eventually you'll encounter Xana, and this will be revealed. After doing this, you can continue to complete maps within this area, then you will spawn an influence. The influence is represented by the shading on the corner of the Atlas. It's yellow here. This means Drox is in this area. Once it's spawned, you can complete a few more maps, and then you'll be able to talk to Xana after you fill up this bar represented on the left. That will allow you to fight your first Conqueror. After killing that, you'll receive your first Watchstone. So congrats. For this video, I'm going to sock it into Lex Proxima. You want to sock it into one of the inner regions with your first one. We're going to come back to that later. The next step is to head out to the other 3 corners. Again, for the sake of the video, I'm going to go clockwise, so we go over to Lyra Arthane, build up some maps there, complete maps within that area until once again we spawn that citadel, and also spawn a Conqueror. Killing that Conqueror rewards your second Watchstone, which we're going to keep to one side for now. Thirdly, you're going to head over to New Vastia. This is going to be the 3rd place you spawn a Conqueror, doing it the exact same way you spawned the first 2. Kill that and you'll receive your 3rd Watchstone. Place those into Valdo's Rest, and at this point you are now ready to go into the 4th corner, Hayward Hamlet. Now keep in mind, because we socketed one Watchstone into Lex Proxima, the tier of the map increases, but we're going to have been dropping these maps, if they've been completed, whilst we're doing the other corners. So we already have a map pool ready for Lex Proxima when we want to head on into there. So head on over to Hayward Hamlet, corner number 4, complete maps until you unlock the Citadel, and then continue completing the maps until you kill your 4th Conqueror. Congrats, that's your first 4 done, and you're ready to head on to the inner areas of the Atlas. This is where it gets quite straightforward, but do bear in mind you will want to follow the following steps. Complete maps in Lex Proxima with 1 socketed Watchstone, as we have here, until you spawn a Conqueror. We're going to stay in Lex Proxima until we've completed all these Watchstones. You can see from this graphic, I do have them obtained here. This will say how many Watchstones you need socketed. It is 1 for these, and you will want to do maps in this area until you have all 4. This can take 20, 30 maps maybe, but if you're doing it quickly and you're focusing on your bonus objectives as you go, then it's not going to feel too long. Once you've done this and you've received 4 more Watchstones, you're going to place 3 into Glennock Cairns. For the next inner zone, you're going to head on into Valdo's Rest, a map pool you'll have been building while completing maps in Lex Proxima. And once again, you're going to complete maps until you have unlocked all 4 Watchstones for this region. Try not to go outside of this, because if you do spawn a Conqueror in one of the other zones, it's going to mess up your completion. You might start coming into a few problems with sustain here. If you do, just bear in mind, keep checking Xana as often as possible. She does refresh with maps very frequently. Every time you complete a Xana mission, you can recheck her shop, and once every 24 hours you get a free mission from Xana. As well as this, you can use sextants on your socketed Watchstones to increase the number of mobs in the map, and just make sure you're clearing with less than 50 remaining every time to give yourself the best opportunity to drop more maps. So once this has been done, we're going into Glennock Cairns. You'll receive your 4 Watchstones from Valdo's Rest. They're going to go straight into Turn's End, the final inner ring that we haven't socketed yet. And then the map pool that you've started developing in Glennock Cairns, you're going to use to do the exact same. Complete maps until you spawn Conquerors. Kill each of the Conquerors until you've completed all 4. Again, do not move out of this zone, just stay in Glennock Cairns. If you find yourself lacking maps, make sure you're investing a little bit into your maps, whether it be alks, chisels at this point, because we're going into red maps, also sextants, and you should sustain maps. In the odd chance that you don't at this point, you can always go back and complete more bonus objectives, or potentially buy maps if needed. Once you've got 4 Watchstones from Glennock Cairns, you're going to have a few extra Watchstones lying around. You should have 16 at this point. You can start socketing them around the Atlas. Just do not exceed the number that you are using in the zone you're currently farming. In this case, it's going to be 4, which is going to be Turn's End. So head on into Turn's End. This is where the maps are going to go from 14 to 16. Continue doing the maps until you spawn your Conquerors. Kill all 4, and at this point you will have received 20 Watchstones, which will trigger the first Sirus encounter. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll probably die to this, but do give it a go. If you manage to kill it, brilliant. It does not hinder you if you don't manage to kill him. This is just the midpoint of our progression. Now, at this point, you actually have a decision to make. You have access to higher tier maps, potentially some Maven invitations, bossing content, and also the choice to continue finish your Atlas. Only if it is early in the league and the economy is still fairly fresh and active would I ever recommend delaying your Atlas completion. So if you choose to continue with the Atlas, then it's fairly simple. You go down to 3 Watchstones in every zone other than the corner you choose to farm. Let's say, for example, we go back to Lexajuris here. So we would socket our 4 Watchstones into Lexajuris. Bear in mind, we already have 1 Watchstone from completing the first corner. Now you will kill 3 more Conquerors in this zone to receive 4. Bear in mind though, you will want to start building your map pool in one of the other corners. So when you have killed 3 Conquerors in Lexajuris, you're going to want to socket Lyra Arthane up to 4 Watchstones. This means you'll be splitting your map pool, but you'll be dropping maps ready for you to progress from Lexajuris into Lyra Arthane. After receiving 4 for Lexajuris, you're going to remove a Watchstone and begin working on Lyra Arthane. Once you've received 3 of the Watchstones for this zone, you will start adding Watchstones into New Vastia. After completing all 4 Conqueror encounters within Lyra Arthane, you will then remove a Watchstone there and begin work on New Vastia. Again, once you have killed 3 Conquerors in this zone and received 3 Watchstones, you will want to add your Watchstones into Haywork Hamlet. Map sustain is quite difficult at this point. These are T16 maps, so make sure you're utilizing chisels, alks, potentially Varl orbs, your Xana missions, horizon orbs to get the maps that you want. And if you're ever in a situation, once again, where you're not sustaining your maps, just go back, complete some extra bonus objectives, and try to build up your pool again. So now that you've completed, you'll go back and finish the last Conqueror of New Vastia. You will remove that Watchstone so that you can only drop maps in Haywork Hamlet. And once you have ran only Haywork Hamlet maps, to spawn and kill 3 more Conquerors, you will be at 32 Watchstones, and you will have completed all the Watchstones for every zone. At this point, I would recommend going and doing as many bonus objectives as possible. Also, your Awakening bonus, you would want to do that. You can socket all your Watchstones and just do all the maps you don't currently have the Awakening bonus for. The reason I would do this is you get an increased effect of modifiers on non-unique maps. This is just a more multiplier to your loot. Think of it as if you would drop 1 chaos. In this instance, you would drop 1.27. That is the best way I can say you can think about this number. And then obviously completing the bonus objectives rewards you with a chance to drop higher tier maps. You're going to have a much better time sustaining if you've completed your bonus objective. So there you have it. That was about as easy to follow as I think I could make it. I really put a lot of thought into that, into how to make it as easy to follow as possible. If there are any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll also do a written guide if people would like that, although there are a few on Reddit and other videos going over it a bit more in detail. I've omitted a few of the more beginner things about the mechanics of dropping maps, etc. But if this was helpful to you, please like the video. You can even subscribe if you'd like to see more things like this. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content coming around League Start, how you can utilize an atlas that's set up to make more currency. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.